Bang! Neeves Knives, I'm Jared, and today we have about five knives to go through from different companies. So we have, this is a SHIELDON knife, and it is the SHIELDON Viper. My first time really checking it out, I basically just took it out of the package and wiped it off, so this is only a first impressions. What steel is it? 154 cm steel, G10, steel liners that are inset, that's really nice. Deep carry clip that's inset with flat screws, that's pretty cool. So, yeah, it's got good action, nice and snap. I got like the sound of it actually. It's got a nice sound. Yeah. Good access to the lock bar, ergos. Yeah, it's on point. The blade shape's going to be either for you or not. The beauty with a recurve like this is that it does help trap materials behind the belly so you can make extended cuts. That's a small belly, but you know, it will definitely help it make extended cuts. However, in order to sharpen this, you're going to need a round stone or at least a 1/2 inch stone. Otherwise, you won't be able to hit the center part. So that's the little negative to recurves, which is not a big deal as long as you have a good stone collection. But yeah, this thing's pretty cool. Great flipping action, good ergonomics, and yeah, it's nice and smooth. I like 154 cm. Good stuff. The only thing I'd say negative is, T6s. Just off of first impressions. T6s, sharpening tool and plunge grind looks pretty good. No problems there. But the only other thing would be, you need a round stone or a 1/2 inch stone for sharpening. Next is the SHIELDON Hierophant. The Hierophant. I've actually checked out the prototype of this, and I liked it a lot. This knife has way more leverage in its flipper tab than you're thinking. So if you look at the flipper tab, look at how high it is compared to that pivot. It is, and that's where leverage comes from. Leverage comes from how high the flipper tab is, or the point of contact of your finger to the flipper tab, to relevant to the center of the pivot. And this is way up there. So as soon as you pull this down, it's going to deploy all the way. Because basically, by the time you pull it all the way down, look at how far out the blade already is. So tons of leverage on that. Great action. And then the thumb studs, I prefer the reverse flick. You know what? The thumb flick's not bad either. Yeah, man, the action on this is insane. It's really good. Now, I'm not saying it's like fall shut, but it's very smooth. But it's nice and smooth, and I do notice that this does feel a little bit more refined than the prototype I tried. The blade slide has a lot of oil on it. Well, what's the blade steel? 154 cm, good sharpening choil and plunge grind, or at least decent. They gave you some life to sharpen off. Feels relatively thin. Nice fine set and finish too. Like that's a very fine, almost reflective. G10 inset liner lock with a very well done deep carry clip that's inset with flat screws. So great job on that one. Good access to the lock bar. Yeah, I can't really complain about anything. It's got T8s. The clip is T6, but I'm sure this is priced fairly well. So yeah, very awesome. And you know what? Ergonomically, I gotta say, with the trigger pull, this thing feels really, really good. Even back here it feels good, but it just it bends in your hand really nicely. So yeah, good job on that one, SHIELDON. Next is from, and this one gets a little funky. We got some more to get into, but from Crispy Donut Community, and it is, I think the Salem is what it's called. So this is the Crispy Donut Salem, and they're going to be only 75 of these available. Now they have this knife in other versions, but as far as with the sprinkles and all the good stuff, and they also sent me like a ton of swag. I'm not gonna pull it all out, but tons of little swag. It's pretty cool. I actually kind of like this one right here. This one's a little pink shoe. That's actually pretty dope. But anyways, $130, but this is a titanium frame lock, and we'll go through the in here in a second, but just so you guys can see it really quick, you can see it's coming soon, and they do have other stuff, and you can see right there, coming soon, get notified when the product, blah, blah, blah. Pre-order open from June 2nd to June 4th, limited 75 spots. They say it'll take approximately 2 to 4 months to fill your order, so that's not too bad for a pre-order. Just to go show you guys some length and size and stuff really quick. I know I normally don't get into all that stuff, but I just wanted to show it to you guys because it's limited. So titanium milled pocket clip and backspacer. You see the lanyard, see it has a steel lock bar insert. Now the blade is S35VN and it has a spear point dual ground, because you see it has a grind here and up here. So this is a spear point that's a little bit on the tougher side, and boy is it snappy. Lots of leverage on this flipper tab. Lots of power. The detent is on the stronger side. I would call it a 6, maybe even a 7. All right, for the thumb studs, I'd call it definitely a 7 or an 8 with the thumb studs. But with the flipper tab, it's a 6. So very, very stout detent and extremely snappy. Good ergonomics, nice and comfortable. Not the biggest knife, so you got a nice, tight, compact grip. Sharpening tool and plunge grinds, that's my biggest complaint so far. Not that big of a deal. You can still get a couple good edges on it. But this blade shape, though, man, look at this jimping. This thing's wicked. This thing is wicked. And it looks like, it's made for poking because of how thick and robust this tip is. Because of the secondary grind right here. But then it's a little bit slimmer right there for slicing. So, good access to the lock bar. Very smooth on the drop. And like I said, the thumb studs are a little bit sharp and I have a stout detent, but not sharp to where it's painful, but it's grippy. It's very grippy thumb studs. And it has a stout detent, so yeah. And the flipper tab's a little bit on the sharper side too, but I kind of like it. It just has, it grips you back basically, so that's cool. But I like that it's titanium. The sprinkles, it's you're either for it or not. I'm not a huge fan of it, but I understand why people are, and it is kind of cool. And like if you have a girl in your life that likes this type of stuff, this would be right up her alley, probably, especially with all the swag. So I do kind of like it because it's different, it's unique, it's not the ordinary, we've all seen the tactical knives. This takes a very functional, good quality premium knife and throws a little swag on it. So, like I said, everything will be linked down in the description. Now the next two knives are from Knife Club. The first one, if you guys don't know, Knife Club is a monthly subscription where you can pay money monthly and you get random knives. So there's a couple different tiers. This is tier 2, and the knife for tier 2 costs $55 and the total value says $70. Now let's check this knife out and then we'll get to the next one, which is the premium one. So the Ferrum Forge Zelix Green G10 D2 steel, deep carry inset clip with flat screws. Very well done there. I gotta say, I think the knife is a really good quality knife. I believe We is the one making these. I can't confirm that, but I'm pretty sure that's who's doing them. And they do a really good job. Very consistent action. Ferrum Forge usually does like their own QC and things like that. So they're usually very well done. And I gotta say, this is very well done. Beautiful sharpening choil, a Tonto blade in D2, good geometry. It feels like the jimpings, it's not the most useful jimping, but it works. It's a smaller compact knife. However, it's still a steel liner lock with D2 steel, and I understand Ferrum Forge has to make their money, and they do a really good job with their designs. It's very well executed. I don't want to take anything from it, but you can get really, really good quality knives in D2 for $30. So, it's a tough sell for D2, right? Now, I'm not saying there's not D2 knives that are over $50, $60, but usually in that case, they have premium materials, titanium clips, things like that. In this case, we don't have that. So is it worth it? I'll let you decide. I personally would lean towards no on this one. But, that's for you to decide. Now, I will say this. The last package from these guys was the best one I've seen. Like, it was shockingly good. And that was the KAVISO. The KAVISO Drop Bear Titanium with LC200N. And they had it for a lower price. Now, the next one is a SOG. And it is the SOG Altar FX. It's actually pretty cool, but we're going to go through it. So they're saying $150. I did look it up. It is $150 on the knife dealers, but they're saying you only pay $120 for this. But let's check out what you get. So you have CPM 154 steel, or 154 CM. Why does it say CPM 154? So 154 cm, that's what's on the blade. So I'm going to say that. So cryo 154 cm, maybe that is CPM 154. But it has a beautiful drop point blade, very aggressive jimping. Now these scales actually pop off. So we're going to go through this sheath here in 1 second. But first I want to show you guys this because these, ooh, did I just mess it up? Oh shit, I just messed it up. So, okay, so you pry this up like this. Wow, yeah, this isn't, am I doing this wrong? It says on the box this is how you do it. Wow, I'm messing it up. I'm breaking it trying to do this. Okay, so complaints already. Okay, there we go. It's starting to pop up now. And this is a nice little flathead. It said use a flathead. And then you can pry them up basically. So you can go through and go all the way down it and pry it up. So there we go. Come on. Anyways, you guys can see right there. So you see all the little spots that click in. It's pretty cool, but I will say this is like FRN. So FRN and 154 cm for $150? Are you out of your damn mind? I don't care that these scales, sorry, excuse my language. I don't care that these scales pop. I don't care that these scales pop off. I mean, look at what happens when you try to remove them. I mean, this stuff is fragile. It's not G10. Why not just use G10? You're charging $150 for it. It's CPM 154. It's 154 cm. That's a mid-grade steel. I don't see, this is the stuff that I don't understand because I understand prices are going up on knives, but there's still a limit. This is FRN and it's a fixed blade. Okay, so let's check out the sheath because the sheath is kind of cool. I do want to give it credit. So you can see you can basically turn it any direction you want. Let me grab something. So you can move this little guy out and put it in a different position. So you can go like that, put it right there, and then take this screw and put it right there. So you can decide exactly how you want to carry your knife, which I do think that's cool. So I do want to say the sheath is really cool how they did that. And then you screw in this side, tighten it up on both sides, wherever you want it. Let me see right there, is that good? Okay, so then you can put this on your belt, you know, and angle it or however angle you want. And the sheath fits pretty good, but again, it's an FRN sheath. It doesn't even feel like Kydex. Maybe it's Kydex, but it feels like the same stuff this stuff's made out of. And it just feels, you know, like a... So, yes, this is cool for somebody who just wants a beater, right? You don't care about the G10. This thing is going to get destroyed. It's going to be dropped. It's going to be hammered through stuff. But the FRN does not hold up very well. It feels very brittle and chippy. I mean, I took this stuff off one time, and you could see what happened. And I did it exactly how they said to do it. They said, put a little flathead here and start prying up, and then work its way up. And, you know, it's small in the hand, small and compact. Yes, it's a good little knife. I think the knife itself is a good knife. I don't want to make it seem like I feel like I'm dogging it out right now, and I'm not trying to. I think the knife is a good knife. I think they did a good job on the knife. I think the sheath is really cool. It's just tough for me to see even $120 with this. I just don't see it. And I feel like I'm not helping them at all right now because their job is to sell subscriptions so people want to buy into them. And, you know, I feel bad because I cannot sit here and promote knives that are just downright, like, it doesn't make sense. Now, maybe this wasn't, you know, the best one for the month, you know, next month will be better. I mean, last month really encouraged me, like, man, these guys might be doing something here. But when I start looking at these things, man, is it made in the USA? I don't think it is. I think it would say it if it was. Maybe if it was made in the USA. If it was made in the USA, I would be like, yeah, okay, cool. But it's not. It's not. Neither one of these are. So anyways, I'm sorry guys, I hate to sit here and like beat these guys up, because I do think that it's a cool concept, it's a cool idea to do this. I just think they need to pick knives that make sense. Pick knives that actually people will think that they're getting a good value, you know. Just because they charge $150 for this doesn't mean you're getting a good deal at $120. You know, same thing with this guy. You know, stop picking knives at, you know, $70 for D2. I can't think of another knife in D2 that's $70 that's not a titanium frame lock. Or at least, you know, it has premium materials to some extent, right? Like fat carbon fiber or something like that. I don't know. Anyways, like I said, man, this one makes me feel kind of bad because I don't want, like I said, I don't want to sit here and drag these guys, and I know I'm letting this video go on and on and on, just because I do feel bad, and I want to help them promote their business. I really do. I want them to do good. I want them to be successful, and I want them to make money, and I'd love to help them do that, but not at the expense of the people buying it, you know. They should feel good about it. And that's kind of the point of this. Like, if you feel good doing this, then you're going to continue doing it. But every time you see something and it's like, yeah, this ain't really worth it, it lowers the chances of people investing in it. And I understand that it is cool getting random knives, and I don't want to say this isn't a cool knife, because honestly, I like the knife. I think this is really cool. I personally would use the heck out of this thing. This would be a great little camping tool, little hunting knife. Fantastic. You know, I do like the sheath, you know, and it is made in materials that you don't have to worry about beating up on to some extent. FRN might be a little brittle, but my point is though is that when you're talking about this price, you can get, there are so many knives you can get for this price, for, you know, for better materials, better everything. But anyways, there you guys go. I love you. It'll be linked down in the description. If you guys do want to support this and you guys do want to get monthly subscription knives where it's random knives, like I said, last month was awesome. So, but there you guys go. Love you guys. Peace.